What's going on, y'all? Happy Sunday, man. So as y'all can see, I had my video come out yesterday, man. I was talking about the chaotic weekend, man. So let's look real quick at the AP poll. All right, now, in all relevancy, it's not really that important, right? But I still think you should give a reaction to it. Obviously, college football playoff is going to be more important than rankings that come out on Tuesday. But this video always does well, man. So let's react. All right, so how the AP poll got it? They got Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, Texas 3. I like how the top three really looks. Humbly, you know what I'm saying? Oregon's one of the best teams in college football. I know they struggled in one of their games against Wisconsin. It is what it is. It is the Big Ten. However, Ohio State's looking real good, looking like the best team in college football. But you got to give the nod right now to Oregon because they beat them head-to-head. They could potentially meet again, though, in the Big Ten championship. That'll be interesting to see how they adjust to all that, okay? But nonetheless, I like the 1-2. I like the 3-2 with Texas. Pulled away there late. Obviously, Quinn Ewers is dealing with the injury right now, ankle sprain, or ankle injury, I should say. But they still look head and shoulders above the rest. So like that. Now, Notre Dame, in my opinion, should be ranked higher than Penn State. Penn State struggled against a Minnesota team. Now, they were 6-4 coming in. Much respect to them. Nearly pulled off the upset. Made it tough. Had got a full goal block in that game. Returned it back for a 2-point conversion. Right, Drew Allen had a pretty good game, 2 touchdowns. Nonetheless, that dominant win against Army down here, I really liked it. You say what you want about Army, y'all can say what y'all want about Notre Dame and their schedule. They have made a pretty tough schedule, I think, in my humble opinion. Now, someone's like, oh, they lost to Northern Illinois. They've beaten everybody on the schedule they're supposed to beat. You know what I'm saying? Humbly. Then they got to play, I think, it's USC next week. They just beat UCLA last night. All right? So they just doing their thing. Riley Leonard looked good. Jeremiah Love went off for 130-plus yards, 3 touchdowns. I think Notre Dame should be higher than Penn State. Humbly. That's just my opinion. I would put them 4. And then I would actually move up Georgia to 5 and put Penn State 6. Now, Georgia has a better resume than Penn State. Have the 2 losses nonetheless, but they've beaten quality teams. They've beaten Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? They've went in and they beat a good Florida team that's getting better and better. Say what you want. You know what I'm saying? They've beaten teams that's gotten better this year. All right? And they also beat the number 3 team according to the AP poll in Texas. So, obviously, I know Georgia fans are not happy with that win they got yesterday over UMass. Felt like the defense didn't play well, gave up 226 rushing yards in that one. But offense is looking good. Beck, your quarterback, which is, I think, a key point to this team. If he's playing good and how he's been playing the last few weeks, you feel pretty good about your chances of what you can do on the ground running the ball with Nate Frazier, okay? So, Georgia, I will put as my number 4 team currently right now. I know they got 2 losses. Notre Dame is my number 4 team. I put Georgia as my number 5 team. I know they got 2 losses, but I feel like they're better, you know what I'm saying, than Penn State, humbly. Now, Tennessee, they had a pretty good weekend. They got their win this past week, but just the chaos and the mayhem that I talked about earlier on Saturday, that helped them out a lot. So they're right in the run, and they should be able to make the college football playoff. Number 8, Miami, pulled away late in the third quarter, put it on, obviously, Wake Forest in that one, limited them to 14 points. A better defensive effort. Cam Ward, 3 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 2 through the air. I think he threw a touchdown pass to Elijah Arroyo as well. So Miami, I think undoubtedly, say what y'all want about the ACC, they should be in. Say what you want, Hurricanes should be in. Regardless of what happens, we'll see what happens in the ACC championship game, they should be in. Now, I reserve comment on SMU. They've looked good this year. KJ Jennings has been looking really good. But I want to see them against stellar competition. The last part of their schedule, it just was not a tough schedule. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, like if we look at the SOS for SMU, it was not tough. But I want to see how they match up against Miami. Now, I will say this, and I might get some critiques in the comments. If they play Miami close in that ACC championship game, potentially, Miami got to handle their business first. I think they should still make the college football playoff. Even if they lose closely, two-loss SMU team, only the loss was to BYU. I still think they should get in. That's just my humble opinion. Indiana, I agree with the number 10. I don't think they should be out of college football playoff just because they lost. You know what I'm saying? You're playing one of the best teams in the country, okay? Let's know that. And they have protection issues in that game. Their defensive line dominated them, okay? So I think Indiana is still one of the top teams. They still should make it and still should be in. Regardless of what you guys have to say about their schedule, they're still one of the better teams. I know they got it put on them. They got ambushed, but Ohio State is for real. We knew that coming into this year. Next, Boise State. Look, man, I understand it. It makes sense. Ashton Jeanty, one of the best players in the country. You want to see him in that playoff setting. You know what I'm saying? Humbly. Like you want to see what he can do. He just passed 2,000 rushing yards this season. He's been incredible. Elite. Okay? So they've been struggling. We're going to see what they look like against stellar competition. They already punched the ticket to the Mountain West Championship. But I see the number 11 there. Makes sense. All right, now looking at this part, this is the part where it gets a little kind of hectic. All right, so Bama at 13. I'm sorry, no, bro. Bama should not be 13. Okay, I understand the strength of schedule. I understand the team they played. They got ambushed. They got wrecked yesterday against Oklahoma. Oklahoma had 5 SEC losses coming into that game. It's no disrespect to Jackson Arnold. No disrespect to Brent Venables, who had a great game plan against Bama in that one. Shut down the running game, made it tough for Jalen Monroe all day, had protection issues. They should not be the number 13 team. I'm sorry. I know who they beat this year, you know what I'm saying? But when you go and lay an egg, two different things. Now, they competed and they lost by a field goal. We have a different conversation. Should not be the 13th team. I'm sorry. Clemson at 12, kind of so-so on that one. Dabo's been doing a good job, but some of the games they lost was a little bit head-scratchers. My humble opinion, I like Arizona State, though. I would put Arizona State as my 12th team. Now, this is not to say Arizona State is better than Alabama. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying based off of who they play, how they've been looking this year, I'm saying Arizona State should be ranked higher than Bama with a 3 loss. You know what I'm saying? Especially how ugly they look. I know you're going to come for me with competition. I just would like that. Ole Miss, I'm bumping down. I'm sorry. Florida is playing better football. They looked good. But the big games, they did beat Georgia. Give them credit where credit is due. But at 15, I don't like the ranking. Humbly. No disrespect Ole Miss fans. But no, bro. 3 losses. No, I'm sorry. Should not be ranked that high either. Now, South Carolina, I like right where they're at, probably about 16, 15. Makes a lot of sense in my humble opinion for them coming on, at the end of the season, doing what they're supposed to be doing. I really like that ranking for them. Iowa State, you know what I'm saying? They've shown some things, but they struggled a little bit last night against Utah. So we'll see what kind of happens with them nonetheless. But 17, 18 range, sounds about right. Next up, you got Tulane, who's doing anything in the group of 5 as well. Been having a great season for the Green Wave. They've been fun to watch all year. The quarterback's playing well. They can run the football. I like what Tulane's been able to do. BYU, man, tough loss to Arizona State, as they should be ranked higher than them. BYU has to win their upcoming game and get a lot of help if they're going to get to the Big 12 championship. So shout out to Arizona State. It's kind of mayhem, too, in the Big 12, as I talked about before, with what's been going on. So I like BYU right there, especially after their most recent loss. Texas A&M, that's a tough one. You know what I'm saying? But you're still in it. You know what I'm saying? You got to handle business, and this is the crazy part. You handle business and you beat the number 3 team in the country next week. You got a spot in the SEC championship game. All right? And you got a spot to potentially get an automatic bid into the college football playoff with a victory in the SEC championship game. How crazy would that be? Right now on the outside looking in, but everything's still on the table for you. Just a tough place to play, man. Jordan Hare is no joke. They came in with momentum. Jarquez Hunter had a big game. We talked about it. Marshall Reed, I thought, played decent in that one, but just couldn't quite make the plays when you needed it the most in that one, man. But Texas A&M, everything's still in front of you. You just got to win out. All right, next up, UNLV. They've been having a good season. So much controversy with the quarterback situation earlier, but they've been steady, getting better. So I like what they've been able to do. That's a pretty good ranking for them at 21. 22, Illinois, same kind of thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Had some losses this year, but starting to come along more and more, get improved as the season goes on. 22, not a bad ranking for them. Colorado, tough loss, man, tough loss. But I think they needed that. Kind of just bring them down to earth a little bit. I like Colorado. I like what Coach Deion is doing. But like you said, they kind of got intoxicated with the success. Now they got to go out, win their game against Oklahoma State and get some help and try to get an automatic bid into the college football playoff. That's where they at. Next up, Missouri. Y'all know how I feel about them. I still think that they're a little overrated. That's just my humble opinion. No disrespect to Brady Cook and Luther Burden. I know them guys is great. But still, I think they're a little bit overrated. At 24, I would go with another team, in my humble opinion, in there, man. Yeah, that's just how I feel about that. All right, and then next up, Army. Man, tough loss, man. But like I said, Notre Dame is not a joke, bro. They beat the heck out of Navy. They beat Army. I still feel like Army should be ranked at 25. It's tough blow, man. Like, you got to be able to, for 4 quarters, stop that Russian attack. And that's one of the main premises of that Notre Dame team, man. But nonetheless, I still think they should be ranked. Probably not going to make the college football playoff now, especially after that ugly loss to one of the top teams in the country. But nonetheless, I think they should still be ranked. Now, real quick, some teams I would like to see ranked that got some votes in here. K-State has looked good this year. They've had their ups and downs. They got a big game coming up that's going to have playoff lives on the line this week. But I really like to see, honestly, Washington State. I like the season they've been having. I know they're not playing in the top-tier conference like they used to in the Pac-12. That's lost a lot of their members. But I like the way they've been playing this year as well. So those are a couple teams I think should be in. But that's my reaction, man. Y'all comment below your thoughts on the new AP poll dropping.